Hi, hello champions. Good morning. Today I am going to start with the chapter called as the material costing. In the last video, we have completed the cost sheet. So today and two more classes, I am going to discuss the material costing. Okay. First of all, this chapter is very important for the CA intermediate students. Damn sure there will be 8 to 10 marks from this chapter. Okay, sometimes they'll give you straightforward questions, but sometimes they'll give application oriented. So as I told you, first we'll understand the concepts, and then we are going to solve all the study material questions including illustrations and practical questions. Without wasting the time, let us start with the chapter called as the material costing. So first of all, yeah, first of all, what is material means? All commodities whichever used for the production of the product, we are going to consider it as the material. Any commodity used for the production purpose, we are going to call it as the material. There are two types of materials: direct material, indirect material, which we already discussed. What is direct material means? Once the product get completed, let me take an example: purse, leather purse. Once the product is completed, we are in a position to quantify how much leather has been consumed to manufacture this purse. How much leather has been consumed, we are able to quantify that. So leather is a direct material. When they are manufacturing this purse, they would have used some of the machineries. For operation of the machineries, for smooth functioning of the machineries, they would have used lubricants, grease, oils, all these things. But those things cannot be traced with the one single purse. We cannot quantify how much grease has been consumed to produce this purse. So grease is an indirect material, leather is a direct material. I hope you are understanding. That means if you are able to quantify with the finished good, once the good get completed, if you are able to quantify how much material is consumed, then it is direct, because direct you can trace to the product. If you are not able to trace to the product, then we are going to call it as the indirect material. Next, before proceeding further into the chapter, the one of the point which we need to understand is that procurement process. Nothing but how the corporate companies will purchase the raw material. There will be a systematic internal controls. The stabilized companies, corporate companies, well established companies will be having systematic process to procure the raw material. Everything will happen in systematic form. There will be documentary evidence for every transaction that we need to understand the material costing in better form. Let us start with the procurement process. The procurement process will start from the planning department or engineering department. What they'll do, please understand, before purchasing the raw material, first we need to estimate how much quantity has to be produced. Based on the requirement of production, we are going to procure the raw material. How to decide the production? It depends upon the demand in the market. So the planning department, engineering department, they will analyze the demand to the product in the market. If the product does not have the demand, what is the purpose of production? We are producing the product to sell it in the market. So first we need to analyze the demand in the market. The engineering department and planning department will analyze the demand in the market. Based on the demand, they will decide what is the production requirement. According to the production requirement, they are going to prepare one document called the bill of material. They are going to prepare one document called the bill of material. Look at here. That is the first document which they prepare. In bill of material, they are going to specify what all the raw materials required, to produce the required production. They are going to estimate what is the raw material required for the production purpose. There are different types of raw materials required. All those raw materials, they specify the name, nothing but description, and then they're going to specify the quantity required. Everything they specify in the bill of material. In bill of material, they specify production and they specify the raw material required for the production. Such bill of material will be given to the production department. In the production department, there will be a production manager. According to the bill of material, the production manager has to produce the products. If you want to produce the product, first you need to consume the raw material. From where he can get the raw material? From storeroom. He will issue material requisition note. In short, we will be calling it as the MRN. He will be issuing material requisition note to the stores department. Generally, they'll be giving the numbering MRN number 1, MRN number 2, MRN number 3. As how we have the bill numbers, same way the MRN also will having the numbering. Once the storeroom receives the MRN from the production department, the storeroom obligation, the storekeeper's obligation is that he need to supply the raw material. How he is going to supply the raw material? If the raw material is available in the storeroom, he will be supplying the raw material. If the raw material is not available, then what he need to do? He need to purchase. Now what the storekeeper will do? He will be issuing purchase requisition note. He will be issuing purchase requisition note to the purchase department. I hope you are understanding the sequence. You are understanding the sequence. So first bill of material has been issued to production department. Now production manager requested for the raw material through material requisition note. Now the storekeeper, if the raw material is available, he will supply the raw material. If the raw material is not available, then he will issue the purchase requisition note to the purchase department. Now what the purchase department do? There will be a purchase manager. There will be a purchase manager. The purchase manager has to purchase the raw material. Now how he is going to do that means, first he will request for the quotation from the suppliers. First he will request, that is the fourth point. That is the fourth point. He will request for the quotation from the supplier. There will be many suppliers in the market. All the suppliers will issue the quotation to the purchase department. Now what happens? So that is what the next point is, receiving the quotations by the purchase department. Receiving the quotations by the purchase department. After receiving the quotations, the purchase manager will analyze all the quotations and he is going to cross check the credit worthiness of the supplier. Whether the supplier is giving quality products, whether the supplier is giving at the optimal cost or cheap cost. So he will try to find out the supplier who is giving the quality product at cheap cost, at the less price. Once he fixed the supplier, so let me take an example. He received the quotations from the 10 suppliers. Out of 10 suppliers, he is going to select the one supplier. To such supplier, he is going to issue one of the official document called as the purchase order. He is going to issue one of the official document called as the purchase order. In that purchase order, he is going to specify. In that purchase order, he is going to specify what is the quantity required and what is the at what price he need to supply and within what time. Within what time he need to supply the raw material. In purchase, that is one of the official document and legal document. The purchase order issued by the purchase department to the supplier. In that, they'll clearly specify how much quantity to be supplied, at what price they need to supply, within what time, within what time they need to supply the raw material. Once the supplier received the purchase order, he has the obligation to supply the raw material. But before supplying the raw material, he will expect some advance payment. Now the supplier, what he will do? He will coordinate with the accounts department. To the accounts department, he will be issuing pro forma invoice. I hope you would have heard about the pro forma invoice in the GST. He will be issuing pro forma invoice, which is not the final invoice. Based on once the purchase order is received, to request the payment, he is issuing pro forma invoice to the accounts department. To the pro forma invoice, he will attach the purchase order. Once the accounts department received that, they will be releasing the payment. Once he get the payment, he will be issuing the tax invoice. So he received the payment and he has been issued the tax invoice. Now it's the time to supply the raw material. Now what he will do? He will start. See, this is the ninth point. Ninth point is the tax invoice, and in the 10th point, he is going to start supply raw material through the delivery challan or tax invoice. He will supply raw material to which department? Store department. Directly he will supply raw material to the store department of the company. So once the raw material reaches through delivery van, once the raw material reaches the store department, in the store department, they will unload the stock. At the time of unloading the stock from the delivery van, they are going to prepare one document called as the goods received note. They are going to prepare one document called as the goods received note. That copy will be given to the accounts department. Are you understanding? At the time of unloading, because they need to have the clarity how many goods has been reached the factory or how many goods has been reached the storeroom. Are you understanding? So they'll be preparing the goods received note. That copy will be given to the accounts department. After unloading the stock, before placing into the storeroom, they need to inspect the raw material. They need to inspect the raw material. Why? Because they need to check the quality. They need to check the good condition of the raw material. Whether it is according to specification. If any defective product found out by the inspection team, if any defective product, see here. So, if any defective product is found out by the inspection team, they are going to return back to the supplier. They are going to return back the raw material to the supplier. If it is not according to specification, they will return back to the supplier. Are you understanding? So at that time, they'll prepare one document called the goods return note. Such copy will be given to accounts department and such copy will be given to the supplier. Clear? Finally, after returning the goods, whatever the goods which are in good condition, they'll place it in the storeroom. Finally, they'll prepare one document called the material abstract. In material abstract, they'll clearly mention how much quantity has been ordered, how much quantity has been received, how much quantity has been returned, and how much quantity is there in the storeroom. Everything will be clearly specified in the material abstract that will be forwarded to the accounts department for the purpose of accounting. So this is called material procurement process. Systematic way of procurement will happen. It is not that just supplying raw material directly from the supplier. Everything will happen on documentation evidence. Because if something gone wrong, there should be someone who should take responsibility of that. Why I'm explaining this means at the time of discussing ordering cost, carrying cost, this discussion will be helpful. You will be finding in the material also material requisition note, purchase requisition note. We should be having idea who will prepare that, to whom they'll issue. When it comes to material requisition note, production department to the storeroom. When it comes to purchase requisition note, storeroom to the purchase department. We should know what is the pro forma invoice. We should know what is the purchase order. Purchase order issued by the purchase department to the supplier. Pro forma invoice issued by the supplier to the account department. These things will be helpful for the further discussion, so that I discuss this concept. Clear? Now, let us start with the core content of this chapter, material costing, that is inventory control. I can tell you, take my word, 80% of the chances in the examination to get the question from the inventory control. 80%. I can say more than that, 90%. I can say 90% chances is to get the question from the inventory control. Only 10% chances for the remaining things. Very, very important. This is the core content of the material costing. When it comes to inventory control, what do you mean by inventory control? Please understand the purpose of the inventory controls. The purpose of the inventory controls is to make available of the raw material whenever there is a requirement. Whenever there is a production requirement, see, the production department will be keep issuing the MRN, material requisition note, to the storeroom. Whenever they issue the MRN, immediately they need to supply the raw material. There should not be any stock out position. There should not be any stock or out of stock position. So one of the purpose of the inventory control is that to maintain the stock availability at the time of requirement. According to the requirement, maintain the stock. One more thing is, at the same time, see here you will get the point, sir. Let us make some 1000 kgs extra. Let us maintain some 1000 kgs extra, so that there will be no stock out position. But there should not be any excess stock also. There should not be stock deficiency, as well as there should not be any excess stock. The reason behind that, look at here. There should not be the stock out position and there should not be excess stock. If there is a stock out position, what is going to happen? Whenever the MRN received, if the raw material is not supplied on time, based on the MRN, if the raw material is not supplied on time, it is going to impact the production. It is going to impact the production of the product. Even one type of raw material is not supplied on time, it is going to impact the entire production. Due to impact on the production, it will have impact on the sales. Due to impact on the sales, we are going to lose the contribution. We are going to lose the contribution. What is the loss? What is the loss by not making the stock availability? Is that contribution lost from the sales. When there is excess stock, there will be excess carrying cost. there will be excess carrying cost. When you are maintaining the excess stock, there will be excess carrying cost. There should not be excess stock, there should not be deficiency. We need to maintain according to the availability. 100% accuracy might not be possible, but we'll try to reach to the extent possible. At least we should be make available at least to the extent of 95%. 100% availability might not be possible. Are you understanding? So we need to balance both. There should not be stock out, there should not be excess stock. We need to balance both. According to the requirement, we need to make raw material available. That is the purpose of the inventory control. To maintain this inventory control, to implement this inventory control, they are using certain strategies called as the setting of qualitative levels. The first one is stock levels. Stock levels helps to maintain the raw material available. That is the first strategy. Second one, classification, stock classification, in which we are going to study the ABC analysis. Third one, stock ratios. Third one, stock ratios. And fourth one, stock registers. These are the four techniques which helps to implement the inventory controls in the organization. Out of these four, very, very important point from the examination point of view is that stock levels. Let us start discussing the stock levels. There are totally 7 stock levels. If you look at this, setting of quantitative levels or stock levels, the first one is reorder level. The first one is reorder level. Nothing but when to place the order. Let me take an example. Let us understand this. The total quantity required throughout the year is 1,20,000 kgs. The total quantity required is 1,20,000 kgs. Are we going to 1,20,000 kgs per annum? Are we going to order enter 1,20,000 kgs in one order? Means absolutely no. We are going to order according to the requirement. Now the point is when to place the order. We'll be keep placing the order. We should know when to place the order. That is called reorder level. That means once the quantity touches reorder level, we are going to place the new order. Second point is reorder quantity. Nothing but how much to order. Reorder quantity is nothing but how much to order. Generally, we'll be calculating this using EOQ, economic order quantity. We'll be calculating using economic order quantity. Are you understanding? So how much to order? See, when to order is reorder level. How much to order is reorder quantity. For that, we have one of the technique called the EOQ, which is proved. We'll discuss that later. Okay, now maximum stock level. Nothing but up to how much to stock. How much is the maximum that need to be stocked? When it comes to minimum stock level, at least how much to stock? When it comes to average stock level, normally, see, look at the wording. Up to how much to stock, at least how much to stock, normally how much to stock. This is the maximum, minimum, average. When it comes to danger stock level, stock required in the emergency situations. Danger stock level is the stock which will maintain according to the requirement in the emergency situations. At last, safety stock level to mitigate the sudden demand. We'll maintain some stock on the safety basis to mitigate this to encash the sudden demand in the market. There are certain situations where the sudden demand can be created. In that kind of situations, we need to maintain some safety stock to encash the demand. Clear? So these are the 7 stock levels which we need to calculate for the companies to implement the inventory controls. We have some formulas. We have some formulas to calculate the 7 stock levels. But please understand, all those formulas are not derived formulas. All are generalized formulas. If you ask me the proof, if you ask me the derivation, there is no derivation for those formulas except EOQ. Except EOQ. Remaining all formulas are general based. For classroom discussion, we are doing that. But practical approach slightly vary from the classroom discussion. But in the examination, you have to calculate using the formulas which we are going to discuss now. I am telling you again, these all are generalized formulas. Nothing like proved. Okay, let us start with the reorder level. When it comes to reorder level, the formula is maximum consumption into maximum lead time. maximum consumption into maximum lead time. Before that, we need to understand one point. I'm going to take the example. See, consumption. I'm going to take it as 4 kgs to 6 kgs per day. Reorder period or lead time equal to 4 days to 6 days. 4 days to 6 days. So please understand, when it comes to this, consumption is the minimum consumption in a day is 4 kgs, maximum consumption in a day is 6 kgs. Sir, how you are deriving these values? Looking at the past. We'll take the past history. By looking at the past history, we'll check what is the minimum consumption taken by the workers. And we are going to check what is the maximum consumption taken. Just as an example, for easy understanding purpose, I have taken the smaller values 4 kgs to 6 kgs. When I say average consumption, how to calculate average consumption? 4 plus 6 divided by 2, which comes to 5 kgs. Same way, when it comes to lead time or reorder period, the minimum delivery time taken by the supplier is 4 days. The maximum delivery period taken by the supplier is 6 days. That is also we are going to get from the past information. On an average, how many days? 5 days. Using this information, I am going to explain the formulas. First of all, reorder level, that is maximum consumption into maximum lead time. Maximum consumption into maximum lead time. Or one more formula, safety stock plus consumption during reorder period. Safety stock plus consumption during reorder period. First of all, let us understand why. Okay, before understanding why, let us revise all the formulas once. So, reorder level formula is maximum consumption into maximum reorder period or safety stock plus consumption during reorder period. Reorder quantity, how to calculate that? Means we are going to use the economic order quantity. To calculate that, we are going to use the economic order quantity. We know the formula root of 2AO divided by C. A stands for annual requirement, O stands for ordering of per order, C stands for carrying of per unit per annum. Wording is very, very important. They'll try to play with the wording. O stands for ordering of per order. C stands for carrying of per unit per annum. Sometimes they'll give per unit per month. Convert into per annum by multiplying with 12. Okay, now maximum stock level, reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum consumption into minimum lead time. When it comes to minimum stock level, reorder level minus average consumption into average lead time. Now, average stock level, there are two formulas. One of the logical formula is first one, minimum stock level plus half EOQ or half ROQ. Half ROQ. Minimum level plus half ROQ. One more formula is maximum level plus minimum level divided by 2. Please understand, these two formulas will not give the same answer. The answer will be different. The answer is different because these are not proved formulas. These are not proved formulas. They are generalized formulas. Don't get panic. The answer will be different. But in examination, I am telling you it's recommended to write both. We don't know what solution they are going to take. My recommendation is that try to write both. It will take hardly 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds to write one more alternative. Okay, now danger stock level, average consumption into emergency lead time. Average consumption into emergency lead time. What is emergency lead time? I will explain. Here the point is, if the average consumption is not given, try to take the minimum consumption. In the situation of non-availability of the average consumption, take the minimum consumption. Next, safety stock level, annual demand divided by 365. We'll be getting our annual demand or requirement. Demand or requirement. So annual requirement divided by 365 days, we'll be getting requirement per day. Requirement per day. We'll be getting requirement per day into maximum lead time minus average lead time. Gap between the maximum and average. In our example, average lead time is 5 days, maximum lead time is 6 days. 6 minus 5, 1 day. For 1 day, we are going to maintain the safety stock. These are the formulas. These are the formulas. Let us understand the logic behind the formulas. First one, reorder level. So just I took the example, consumption per day 4 kgs to 6 kgs, lead time or reorder period 4 days to 6 days. The formula is maximum consumption into maximum lead time. Now the very big question mark is why we need to take maximum consumption into maximum lead time? Why not minimum consumption into minimum lead time? Why not average consumption into average lead time? Why not minimum consumption into maximum lead time? We'll get many doubts. The answer to that is here when it comes to maximum consumption 6 kgs, maximum lead time 6 days. 6 kgs into 6 days 36 kgs. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this 36 kgs? Once the stock level touches 36 kg, see, you will be maintaining 100, 120, 70, 60. But when you keep on consuming the raw material, at one point of time, the stock level touches the 36 kgs. The moment it touches 36 kgs, immediately place the new order. Immediately you place the new order. That is called reorder level. Reorder level. The level at where we need to place the reorder or new order. Once it touches 36 kgs, place the new order. Now the point is why we need to take maximum consumption into maximum lead time. Why not minimum consumption into minimum lead time? If you take minimum consumption into minimum lead time, we are maintaining 16 kgs as a reorder level. What is the meaning of that? Once the stock touches 16 kgs, we are going to place the order. Let me take an example. The time taken to deliver. The time taken to deliver is 5 days. During that 5 days, they are consuming 5 kgs per day. 5 kgs into 5 days, which equals to 25 kgs is the requirement. 25 kgs is the requirement. But reorder level, how many kgs available? 16 kgs. Availability is 16 kgs. Requirement is 25 kgs. There is a stock out position. The main purpose of the inventory control is to avoid the stock out position. But here we are facing the stock out position. So how much is the stock out position? By 9 kgs. 9 kgs is the stock out position. So you cannot go by the minimum consumption to minimum lead time. Same way when it comes to average consumption into average lead time, also 25 kgs only we are maintaining. They may go for the maximum consumption, maximum lead time. Requirement is 36 kgs. Requirement is 36 kgs. Availability is 25 kgs. There is a stock out of 11 kgs. There is a stock out of 11 kgs. To avoid the stock out position, it's better to go by the maximum consumption into maximum lead time. On general basis, we are taking. The main purpose is avoiding the stock out position, so that we are taking maximum consumption into maximum lead time. Clear about this? Understanding? Next. Maximum stock level. When it comes to maximum stock level, formula is reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum consumption into minimum lead time. Let me take an example. According to our discussion, reorder level. This is the reorder level. Just now we calculated 36 kgs. Let me take an example. Reorder quantity equal to 100 kgs. The quantity which we ordered is 100 kgs. Reorder level is 36 kgs. Reorder quantity is 100 kgs. Now, once the stock touches 36 kgs, we have placed the new order. By the time we receive 100 kgs, there will be some consumption. Will happen because it will take 3 days. Sorry, according to our example, 4 to 6 days. It will take 4 to 6 days to get this 100 kgs. During that 4 to 6 days, there will be some consumption. Are you understanding? That we are going to call it as the consumption during order period. Consumption during order period. Okay. Here, I am going to take minimum consumption into minimum lead time. So, minimum consumption is 4 kgs. Minimum lead time is 4 days, which equals to 16 kgs. 16 kgs. So out of 36 kgs, 16 kgs consumed, balance is 20 kgs. Are you understanding, all of you? Now, the moment, see, just I'm taking minimum consumption, minimum lead time, but consumption can be more than that also. But I'll explain you why I'm taking minimum consumption into minimum lead time. I'll explain that later. But what I mean to say, consumption may be 16 kgs or greater than 16 kgs. 16 kgs or greater than 16 kgs also. But why we are taking minimum consumption to minimum lead time in the formula, that I'll explain the logic. What we need to understand is that Reorder level touches means we'll place the new order, and by the time receiving the 100 kgs, there will be some consumption. If you reduce that, we'll be getting minimum stock. There will be some stock left out in the store. Now the point what we need to understand is, we understood reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum consumption to minimum lead time. Why we need to take minimum consumption to minimum lead time? Why not maximum consumption maximum lead time? Why not average consumption average lead time? Please understand. Look at here. When we take the minimum details, reorder level is 36 kgs, reorder quantity is 100 kgs, minus minimum consumption 4, minimum lead time 4, totally 16. We are recommending the management. To maintain 120 kgs as a maximum stock level. We are recommending the management to maintain 120 kgs as a maximum stock level. When you take the average details, in place of 4 into 4, we'll take 5 into 5, it will be 111 kgs. When you take the maximum details, it is 6 into 6, it will be 100 kgs. If you look at these three, which is the maximum 120 kgs, we are getting 120 kgs at what information? By taking the information of the minimum consumption to minimum lead time. So the target is to pick the maximum stock level. So it's better to go by this. Compared to this two. When you take the average maximum details, you are getting 111 kgs, 100 kgs, which is less than 120 kgs. So the target is to fix the maximum stock level. So the maximum stock level should be 120 kgs. Suppose if you fix 111 kgs as a maximum stock level, some or the other time this 111 kgs will be failed because when there is a minimum consumption to minimum lead time, there will be 120 kgs. See, the maximum stock level gives the information to the management what is the maximum that can be possible in the storeroom. What is the maximum stock that can be possible in the storeroom? If you say 111 kgs, sometimes there will be 120 kgs. That means whatever the information provided by us is going to wrong. So whatever the information that we given to management, it should be accurate. For that purpose, we need to take the minimum consumption to minimum lead time, not the average consumption to average lead time, not the maximum consumption to maximum lead time. Ultimately, maximum stock level equal to reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum consumption to minimum lead time. Reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum consumption to minimum lead time. Clear about this? Okay. So that is about the maximum stock level. Minimum stock level. What is the formula for minimum stock level? Reorder level minus average consumption into average lead time. So please understand, 36 kgs is the reorder level. 36 kgs is the reorder level. I am taking average consumption to average lead time. There is no much logic on this. See, we don't know what quantity, what quantity is going to be consumed during the reorder period. We cannot take the maximum, minimum. We have to go by the average. When you are predicting something about the future, when you are forecasting something about the future, it's better to take the average. So that I am taking average consumption to average lead time. In our example, reorder level is 36 kgs. Minus average consumption is 5, average lead time is 5. So 36 kgs minus 25 kgs, which equals to 11 kgs is the minimum stock level. 11 is the minimum stock level. 11 kgs. Are you understanding? So that is about the minimum stock level. Next, average stock level. See here, second one, no need to explain. That is maximum level plus minimum level divided by 2. Just I'm taking the average of the two extremes. When it comes to the one formula, that is first formula, minimum stock level plus half EOQ. As I told you, that 11 kgs of minimum stock level will be there throughout the period. See, what is average stock? What is average stock? On average, how much stock is lying in the storeroom? On average. Sometimes it will be 120 kgs, sometimes it will be 20 kgs, sometimes it will be 70 kgs, sometimes it will be 30 kgs. There will be keep on fluctuations. But what we need to know is on average. I don't want extreme 120 kgs, I don't want extreme 11 kgs. Maximum is 120, minimum is 11. I don't want to take the extreme, I want to know the average. How to know the average? Please understand, minimum stock level will be there throughout the period. That 11 kgs will be there in the storeroom throughout the period. So I am taking minimum stock level of 11 kgs. Minimum stock level of 11 kgs plus. What is going to fluctuate is, see, please understand, 11 kgs is the minimum stock level. When I place the new order and when I receive the goods, after placing the new order, when we receive the goods, how many goods we are going to receive? 100 kgs. Already stock with the company is 11 kgs. 100 plus 11, 111 kgs. Then what happened? Then they start slowly consuming the goods. When they consume the goods, slowly it decreases. Again, it comes to minimum stock level. Again, we have to place the new order. We place it again. It will go to 111 kgs, decreases to 11 kgs. Again, it go to 111 kgs, decreases. Sorry, 111 kgs, decreases to 11 kgs. Are you understanding? So what is happening here? 11 kgs is stable. 11 kgs is stable throughout the period. What is fluctuating is 100 kgs. What is fluctuating is 100 kgs. Sometimes it go to 100, that 100 becomes 0. I'm not telling 111 becomes 0. I'm telling you 100 becomes 0. Again goes to 100 becomes 0. 100 becomes 0. Take the average. That is half of EOQ. That is 100 plus 0 divided by 2 is the average. Nothing but half of 100, nothing but half of EOQ. That is the ordering quantity. Half of EOQ or half of ROQ. Half of ROQ. Are you understanding? Minimum stock will be there throughout the period, whereas ROQ is keep on fluctuating, so that I'm taking the average, that is ROQ divided by 2. That is the formula. Okay, next. Danger level. Average consumption into emergency lead time. Average consumption into emergency lead time. That is the danger stock level. Okay, there is no much logic, but one more thing. Emergency lead time. What is this emergency lead time means? See, please understand. Danger stock level is below the minimum stock level. See, this is the maximum. As we discussed 120. This is the minimum. As we discussed 11 kgs. And danger level will be here. Danger level will be here. Somewhere around, let me take an example, 7 kgs. So first is maximum, minimum, danger level. So when once the goods touches danger level, once the goods touches danger, see how it can touch danger level. See, generally they need to place the order in time and they need to receive the goods. Sometimes due to internal controls lacking, they may not able to place the order. Even after placing the order, due to supplier's mistake, they may not able to deliver on time. What happened? It will go below the minimum stock level. Once it touches danger level, it is about to be stock out. Once it touches danger level, it's a clear indication. It's a clear indication that the company is going to have the stock out. Then what the management will do? They'll stop all the general productions. Whatever the general production is, the regular production will be there in the company. Without any demand, without the production will not be based on the demand. They'll be keep producing some of the general productions will be there. Those general production will be completely stopped. Once it touches danger level, only they'll work on the specific productions according to the customer request. The company is promised to deliver certain goods to the customer on time. They'll work only on the specific productions. All the general productions will be stopped. Using this danger stock level, they'll supply raw material only for the specific productions which are according to the customer requirements. That is one thing. One more thing, to fix this danger level, the formula is average consumption to emergency lead time. What is this emergency lead time is? Once it touches danger level, the management will make a call to the supplier. They'll beg the supplier, they'll request the supplier, please supply as early as possible. According to our example, 4 days is the minimum reorder period. This is the minimum reorder period. We will request the supplier to supply within 2 days or 1 day, as soon as possible. If you are able to supply within 1 day, supply within 1 day. If you are able to supply within 2 days, you have to supply within 2 days. So let me take an example. 2 days is the emergency lead time. 2 days is the emergency lead time, which is less than the minimum lead time. That is called emergency lead time. So average consumption to emergency lead time. If average consumption is not available, take the minimum consumption. Clear? Okay. Safety stock level, I already explained this. Annual demand divided by 365 days into maximum lead time minus average lead time. All of you clear about this? Understanding? Okay. Now the point is, we need to understand EOQ. We need to understand the EOQ. Very important. Okay. Before understanding EOQ, let us understand ROQ, reorder quantity. I already told you, reorder quantity is nothing but the quantity that need to be ordered each and every time when we place the order. When we are deciding the reorder quantity, the point that we need to consider is that minimum stock level. What is the stock that need to be maintained as a minimum stock? Number 2, minimum lead time. What is the lead time? That is the minimum lead time taken by the supplier. Number 3, reorder level. These are the points that we need to keep in mind when we are deciding the reorder quantity. One more point is cost of material, which is very important. Always will try to minimize the cost. Always will try to minimize the cost. So we need to work more on the cost. These 3 points also to be considered, but mainly we need to focus on the reduction of the cost. Let us understand material cost. Let us understand the material cost. The cost elements associated with the material cost is number 1, purchase cost, number 2, ordering cost, number 3, carrying cost, number 4, stock out cost. These are the 4 cost elements which are associated with the material. Whenever the requirement is to calculate material cost, we need to sum up all the 4 cost elements, that is purchase cost, ordering cost, carrying cost, stock out cost. Let us understand one by one. First of all, purchase cost. What is the purchase cost means? The amount paid to the supplier, whatever the amount paid to the supplier, we are going to call it as the purchase cost. Number 2, ordering cost. I already discussed when we are discussing procurement process. There is certain process or there is certain controls, internal controls to place the order. What is ordering cost means? The cost incurred to place the order and to receive the goods. We already discussed that at the time of placing the order, there will be certain documentation charges, transportation cost, insurance during the transportation, and inspection cost. So what I mean to say, what is ordering cost means? The cost incurred from the time of placing the order until receiving the goods to the storeroom. From the time of placing the order until receiving the goods at the storeroom. Throughout this cycle, whatever the cost incurred, entirely called as the ordering cost. When it comes to carrying cost, after reaching the storeroom, we are going to store the raw material in the storeroom. During that time, whatever the cost incurred, entirely called as the storing cost, carrying cost or holding cost. Different names. Storage cost, carrying cost, holding cost. You just think, when the goods are at the storeroom, what all the costs that can be possible? You just think, rent of the storeroom, we have to pay the rent to the storeroom, we have to bear the salaries of the staff, we need to make the insurance on the stock. What I discussed in the ordering cost is insurance during transportation. Now what I am making is insurance on the stock which is lying in the storeroom. Finally, interest lost on the amount held in the stock. Let me take an example. I have invested 1 crore rupees on the stock of the raw material. That 1 crore rupees stock is lying with me for 3 months time. Am I going to get any interest on that 1 crore rupees for 3 months? Zero. Instead of investing in this stock, if I would have made as a FD, I would have got some interest. By investing in the stock, I am losing that interest, which is the opportunity cost. So, when the raw material is held in the storeroom, what all the cost incurred in the storeroom, entire cost is called as the storage cost. Are you understanding? I have written here clearly. Stock out cost. And before that, one more thing. In the carrying cost, we can include one more thing called as the obsolescence. Obsolescence stock. What is this obsolescence? Outdated. When you're keeping the raw material, when you're holding the raw material for more time, the stock will become outdated. That is also one of the cost of the storage. Another point what we need to understand is stock out cost. If the raw material is not made available on time, we are going to have the stock out position of the raw material. Due to that, it is going to impact the production. The production will have impact on the sales. The sales will have impact on the profit. Due to stock out position, we are going to lose the contribution. Here I written that contribution lost from sales lost due to stock out position. Due to non-availability of the raw material, we are losing the sales. On such sales, we are losing the contribution. That contribution lost, we are going to consider it as the stock out cost. These are the four cost elements which are associated with the material. We will try, see, the ordering quantity we are going to decide in such a way where it can minimize the material cost. The reorder quantity should minimize the material cost. That means the total of these four cost elements should be minimum at the respect to ordering quantity. Are you understanding? Now, the quantity which can minimize the cost is, I can call it the optimum order quantity. The optimum order quantity which can minimize the cost is EOQ. EOQ is the ordering quantity which can make the cost least. The best quantity to place the order is EOQ. Now we need to discuss how to calculate the EOQ. We all know the formula, root of 2AO divided by C is the formula to calculate the EOQ. Root of 2AO divided by C is the formula to calculate the EOQ. But while arriving this formula, there is certain assumptions. Objective question might be possible. In one examination, they clearly ask you to write assumptions of the EOQ. Very important. It is very important. We need to understand the logic behind these assumptions. While deriving this formula, root of 2a divided by c, they taken certain assumptions. What the assumptions means? Number one, annual purchase quantity is known and it is constant. Annual purchase quantity, nothing but A. Annual purchase quantity, nothing but A. The A what we taken here. That is known and it is constant. They assumed the annual purchase quantity will be constant. That is the first assumption. Second assumption, no price discounts based on quantity ordered. How much ever the quantity you order, you may order 1000 kgs or 1 lakh kgs, the price will remain same. There will be no price discounts based on the quantity order. It's all of the assumptions. Here what they made is price constant. Here what they made is quantity constant. First point, quantity constant. Second point, price constant. So purchase cost equal to how to calculate purchase cost? Quantity purchased into price. Quantity purchased into price. We'll get the purchase cost. Quantity constant, price constant. So purchase cost is also constant irrespective of the quantity order. Irrespective of the quantity order, purchase cost is constant. Purchase cost is never changed. You may order 1000 kgs, 2000 kgs, 10,000 kgs, 1 lakh kgs, your purchase cost will remain same. Why I am explaining this is, these 2 points, first two points make purchase cost constant. So what I mean to say, in this case, when we are deciding the material cost, our target is to make least. Make the material cost least. So purchase cost will never change. How much ever the quantity you order, purchase cost is not going to change. So no need to consider the purchase cost while deciding the ordering quantity. While deciding the ordering quantity, no need to consider the purchase cost because it is not going to change based on the order quantity. I hope you understand this. Next, third point, the lead time is 0. The lead time is 0. What do you mean by lead time is 0 or reorder period is 0? Practically, is it possible means 100% not possible. What is lead time or reorder period? The time gap between placing the order and receiving the goods. The time gap between placing the order and receiving the goods is the reorder period or lead time. Can it be 0? 100% not possible. When it will be 0? When the supplier is in the storeroom. Will the supplier sit in the storeroom? Are you understanding? When you order the goods in the Flipkart or Amazon, it will take 2 to 3 days time. Sometimes it will take 7 days time also. Can the ordering time can be 0? You tell me. When you order the goods in the Flipkart, immediately you will get the goods. It will take time. Practically, lead time cannot be 0. But to arrive the formula root of 2a divided by c, we have to assume lead time 0. Then only we can arrive. This assumption of lead time equal to 0. See, you tell me one thing. When the lead time is 0, place the order, get the goods. Place the order within fraction of seconds, get the goods. If that be the case, I am placing the order, immediately getting the goods. If that be the case, will there be any stock out? Will the stock out possible? No stock, place the order, get the goods. So stock out position is 0. There will be no stock out. If there is no stock out cost is 0. So third point makes stock out cost 0. Third point makes stock out cost 0. First 2 points make purchase cost constant. Third point makes stock out cost 0. Are you understanding? Now, to make the material cost least, we need to play with only ordering cost and carrying cost. Don't consider the purchase cost, don't consider the stock out cost according to assumptions. You consider only ordering cost and carrying cost. Let us understand how to calculate the ordering cost and how to calculate the carrying cost. I already told you ordering cost means the cost incurred from the time of placing the order and receiving the goods to the storeroom. Between this, whatever the cost incurred, entirely called as the ordering cost. Carrying cost means the cost incurred in the storeroom. We will be keeping the raw material for the 3 months time, 2 months time, 1 month's time. During that time, whatever the cost incurred, that is called as the carrying cost. Now, how to calculate ordering cost? Look at here. I'll come back to the fourth assumption. First, let us understand ordering cost. How to calculate ordering cost? Number of orders into ordering cost per order. Number of orders we are placing in a year. Number of orders we are placing in a year into ordering cost per order. How to calculate number of orders? A divided by OQ. A divided by OQ is the number of orders into O. O denotes ordering cost per order. Are you understanding? So, number of orders per annum. This is actually number of orders per annum into ordering cost per order. We'll get the ordering cost. Next, carrying cost. Average stock into carrying cost per unit per annum. So, here one point what we need to understand is average stock. Why we need to take the average stock? And one more, see here. Here I explained. Let me take an example. We are ordering 10,000 kgs. Let me take an example. We are ordering 10,000 kgs. Initially, the raw material at the storeroom is 0. I am placing the order of the 10,000 kgs. I am receiving the goods. How much is the stock lying in the storeroom is 10,000 kgs. Slowly started consuming. We'll make that 10,000 into 0. Again, I am placing the order, I am getting 10,000 kgs. I will be getting 10,000. See, initially it is 10,000, it becomes 0. Again it went to 10,000, again it becomes 0. Again it went to 10,000, again it becomes 0. So, I am ordering quantities 10,000 kgs. What is happening? That is fluctuating. 10,000 becomes 0, 10,000 0, 10,000 0. So, I need to take the average. How much stock is there in the storeroom means I need to take the average of this. I have to take the average of this. How to take the average? 10,000 plus 0 divided by 2. I can write it as half of 10,000, nothing but half of OQ. Are you understanding? So, I am taking the average stock because the stock will be keep on fluctuating. There will be ups and downs. So, I am taking the average. How to calculate that average stock means half of OQ into carrying cost per unit per annum. That is C. All of you clear about this? So that is how we need to calculate the ordering cost and carrying cost. Now look at the fourth point. Ordering cost per order and carrying cost per unit per annum is known and constant. Here what I am making constant is not ordering cost and carrying cost, not the total ordering cost, total carrying cost. It is ordering cost per order and carrying cost per unit per annum is constant. So what is happening? Ordering cost per order. Okay, let me take the different color to understand better. Ordering cost per order, carrying cost per unit per annum is constant. Ordering cost per order and carrying cost per unit per annum is constant. These two also no need to consider. Ultimately, what is going to be changes number of orders and average stock. Ultimately, what is going to change is number of orders and average stock. These two elements changes because of the ordering quantity. So ultimately, the cost gets changed because of ordering quantity. These assumptions make everything constant except number of orders and average stock. Number of orders depends upon ordering quantity. Average stock also depends upon ordering quantity. All of you clear about this? Understanding? By making this assumption, now they started deriving the formula root of 2a divided by c. Let us see how they derived that. To understand that, we need to understand this graph. I am taking the graph x-axis, y-axis. On the x-axis, we are taking ordering quantity. On y-axis, we are taking the cost. When the ordering quantity is less, average stock is less. Because see, when the ordering quantity is very less, average stock equal to half of OQ. Half of OQ. When the ordering quantity is less, average stock is also less. When the average stock is less, carrying cost will be less. So carrying cost will be here. When the ordering cost is more, carrying cost will be more. This is the line. This is the line of carrying cost. This is the line of carrying cost. When the ordering quantity is less, number of orders will be more. Number of orders will be more. If the number of orders is more, ordering cost will be more. So this is the ordering cost. When the ordering quantity increases, number of orders is less, ordering cost is less. So this is the line of the ordering cost. This is the line of the ordering cost. The point where both will get intersect. The point where both will get intersect. That is the point ordering cost equal to carrying cost. At that point, total cost will be least. At that point, the total cost will be least. If you take before this point, ordering cost is more, whereas carrying cost is less. If you take after this point, carrying cost is more, ordering cost is less. Due to ordering cost is more, in this range, your total cost will be more. After this, due to carrying cost is more, your total cost will be more. The point at where ordering cost equal to carrying cost, the point at where ordering cost equal to carrying cost, your total cost will be least. So to make the total cost least, there will the point at the total cost will be least at the point where ordering cost equal to carrying cost. Now to derive that formula, I am going to assume ordering cost equal to carrying cost. Through the graph, we analyzed that. Wherever the ordering cost equal to carrying cost, at that point the total cost will be least. That point is called as the EOQ. The point at where the cost is least is called as economic order quantity or optimum order quantity. Normally, we will be calling it as EOQ. At EOQ, I am taking the ordering cost A divided by EOQ into O. Carrying cost is half of EOQ into C. By solving this, by rearranging this, I am arriving at the formula EOQ equal to root of 2AO divided by C. I hope you all understand the formula for the EOQ. Why we need to understand this concept means because as I told you, the questions are based on concepts. They are not asking, yes, that may also be possible. They're giving the information, asking to calculate the EOQ. If that be the case, no tension. But if they give an application oriented, then whatever the discussion that I am making will be helpful. Try to get the clarity. Try to understand the assumptions of EOQ. I am telling you many times the question possible from the EOQ. You can watch this video again. Very important. Make sense. Worth spending time on the EOQ because majority of the times they will ask the question from the EOQ. Okay, now. So this is about EOQ. One more point, what we need to understand here is sometimes in the question, what they'll do, they'll give cost per kg 100 rupees. And when it comes to carrying cost, storage cost, holding cost, they'll give in terms of percentage. Carrying cost per unit per annum. Carrying cost per unit per annum. Instead of giving in value, they'll give in percentage. They mentioned 8%. They mentioned 8% per annum. This 8% we have to apply on the cost per kg. That 8% we have to apply it on the cost per kg. Cost per kg 100 rupees into 8%, which equals to 8 rupees per kg per annum. Can I call it like this? 8 rupees per kg per annum. That is called as C. Understand? That is one thing. One more thing, when it comes to carrying cost, they'll give in three forms. What are the three forms? Number one, they'll mention obsolete stock. Obsolete stock, 2%. Interest lost, 5%. Storage cost, 3%. So we have to make total of these three because obsolescence, interest loss, storage cost, everything belongs to carrying cost only. Everything belongs to storage cost only. So you have to make the total 10% and this 10% should be applied on the cost per kg. If they given total 8%, directly we take it. If they given the breakup, take the total. All of you understanding? Okay, let us start doing questions based on this concept. 1 and 2 we'll do it later. Look at the question number 3. Calculate EOQ from the following information. Also state number of orders to be placed in a year. There are two requirements. Number one, EOQ. Number two, number of orders. EOQ formula root of 2AO divided by C. Number of orders A divided by EOQ. A divided by EOQ or OQ. If they given, and one more thing. Let me clarify one more point. I discussed ROQ and EOQ. I discussed ROQ and EOQ. Now the point is whether ROQ equal to EOQ or ROQ is not equal to EOQ. Please understand, we will be calculating EOQ by taking all the assumptions. Let me take an example. We calculated EOQ equal to 10,000 kgs. Now we'll recommend the management, sir, please place the order of 10,000 kgs so that we can minimize the cost. By taking our instruction, management will try to place the order of 10,000 kgs, but suppliers are not ready to supply 10,000 kgs. They are ready to supply only 15,000 kgs. I can call like minimum order. Minimum order what can be executed by the suppliers is 15,000 kgs. Now the point is what the management can do. If they are ready to supply only 15,000 kgs, management does not have any option. They have to place the order of 15,000. Now in this case what is happening? EOQ is 10,000 whereas the ordering quantity, reorder quantity is 15,000. So in this case ROQ is not equal to EOQ. This is the first scenario. Let me take second scenario. We are recommending EOQ equal to 10,000 kgs. By taking this instruction, management is also placing the order of 10,000 kgs. They are executing 10,000 kgs. Then both are equal. Sometimes it will be equal, sometimes it will be different. According to our recommendation of EOQ, if they place the order of same quantity, then EOQ equal to ROQ. Due to some practical issues, if they are not able to place the order of EOQ, then ROQ will be different from the EOQ. Are you understanding, all of you? So sometimes it will be equal, sometimes it will not be equal. Now, look at here. One of the requirement is EOQ, one more requirement is number of orders. We will calculate EOQ. Using that EOQ, we will calculate the number of orders. Here, look at this. Consumption of material per annum. Consumption of material per annum. Consumption of material per annum. 10,000 kgs. Order placing cost per order. Nothing but O. Cost per kg of raw materials 2 rupees. Storage cost 8% on average. So cost per kg is 2 rupees. Storage cost is 8%. Now how to calculate storage cost or carrying cost? C. 2 into 8%. We need to calculate 2 into 8%. We'll be getting C. Now the one more point what I need to state here is, here they given the consumption of material due to non-availability of opening stock of raw material, closing stock of raw material. I am going to take this as the purchase. Purchase equal to consumption. Actually speaking, A stands for annual purchase. Let me so precise. They'll try to play with all this information. A stands for annual purchase. Here they given consumption. Due to absence of the opening stock and closing stock, I am going to assume purchase equal to consumption. So this will only be taken as the A. But sometimes what they'll do, they'll give consumption and they'll give opening stock and closing stock. Using opening stock, closing stock and consumption, calculate the purchase. We already know consumption equal to opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock. They had given consumption, opening stock, closing stock. What we need to do? Calculate the purchase. Purchase equal to consumption plus closing stock minus opening stock. We'll be getting purchase. Then do the EOQ. Luckily in this question there is no opening stock and closing stock. So purchase equal to consumption. That alone be taken as the A. A is 10,000 kgs. O is 50 rupees. C is 0.16. So 10,050, 0.16. We'll be getting 2,500 kgs as the EOQ. Now how to calculate number of orders? A divided by EOQ. A divided by EOQ, that is 10,000 kgs divided by 2,500, 4 orders per year. All of you clear about this question? Okay, now question number 4. Again compute EOQ and the total variable cost for the following. Total variable cost for the following. They given annual demand 5,000 units, unit price 20, order cost 16,000, Storage rate 2%, interest rate 12%, obsolescence rate 16%. I already told you these three are the breakup of the storage cost. These three are the breakup of the storage cost or carrying cost. Make the total. Total comes to 20%. Total comes to 20%. When it comes to order cost 16 rupees, take it as O. Take it as O. Now, how to calculate C? Unit price is 20. 20 into 20%, which equals to rupees 4. O is 16, C is 4. Now, annual demand given 5,000 units. They use the word demand. They use the word demand. Demand of the finished good. Correct? Demand of the, generally the word demand replicates the finished good. In this case, there is no information, no any further information is not provided. This demand is the finished good. That means the company is purchasing and selling the goods. That means the company is into the trading, not into the manufacturing. The company is into the trading. When the company is into the trading, they are going to purchase and sell. So demand equal to purchase. Demand equal to purchase. Because there is no opening stock, closing stock. Demand equal to purchase. This will be taken as the A. We know A, O, C. We can calculate that. See here. Root of 2AO divided by C. 200 units is the EOQ. 200 units is the EOQ. And they are asking to calculate the variable cost. And they are asking to calculate the variable cost. Look at here. They are asking. They are calculating total cost. First, total variable cost. They are asking to calculate the total variable cost for the following. When it comes to total cost, I already told you, whenever it comes to material total cost, material is a variable cost. So whenever it comes to total cost, it is a sum of 4 elements: material purchase cost, ordering cost, carrying cost, stock out cost. In the absence of information, stock out cost is always 0. But in your syllabus, there is no such questions where there consists stock out cost also. All the time stock out cost is taken as 0. So whenever they ask to calculate total cost, add 3 elements: purchase cost, ordering cost, carrying cost. In this question, how to calculate purchase cost? Total purchase cost is total purchase units. Total purchase units into price. How many units were purchased? Many people confuse with 200 units and 5,000 units. 200 units is the quantity order per order. That is not the total purchases. 200 units is the ordering for the single order. They are asking to calculate total cost. When they say total cost, total purchase cost, not the single order cost. Try to get the clarity. Many people, what they'll do, they'll take 200 into price per unit to calculate the purchase cost. They'll think that they're purchasing only 200 units. That is the each time purchase. Total purchase is how many units? 5,000 units. So total purchase cost is 5,000 units into 20 rupees, 1 lakh rupees. We all know that ordering cost. Ordering cost equal to A divided by EOQ into O. This is the formula. A divided by EOQ into O. 5,000 divided by 200 into 16. Carrying cost. What is the formula? Half of EOQ into C. So half of EOQ into C. 400 rupees. And one more thing. At EOQ, we already discussed that ordering cost equal to carrying cost. 400, 400. Make a total 1 lakh 800 rupees. All of you clear about this? Next. Determine total cost that would result for the items if a new price 12.80 is used. Simple. Redo the entire calculation. The only change is 20 rupees. 20 rupees has changed to 12.80. They are asking to calculate the total cost. Look at here. Everything will change. EOQ changes. Based on EOQ, again we need to recalculate the total cost. Are you understanding? Okay. Now 5,000 into 12.8. According to the EOQ, we calculate 320. It becomes 64,640. It is a redo. Entire calculation has to be redone by taking the price of 12.80. Whenever the price changes, EOQ also changes. Clear about this? Okay. Now today's last question and remaining questions I am going to do it in the next video. Okay. Question number 5. To do the question number 5. Let's do the question number 5. Two components A and B are used as follows. There are two A and B. Normal usage 50 units per week each. Maximum usage 75 units per week each. Minimum usage 25 units per week each. Reorder quantity A 300, B 500. Reorder period A 4 to 6 weeks, B 2 to 4 weeks. So this is the maximum consumption This is the minimum consumption. This is the average consumption. Everything is consumption. Okay, per week. When it comes to reorder quantity, nothing but ROQ. A 300 units, B 500 units. Reorder period, nothing but lead time. One more name is lead time. A 4 to 6 weeks. So minimum lead time is 4, maximum lead time is 6, average lead time is 5. B minimum lead time is 2, maximum lead time is 4, average lead time is 3. Calculate for each component reordering level, nothing but ROL. How to calculate ROL? What is the formula? Maximum consumption into maximum lead time. Maximum consumption into maximum lead time. Okay, let's go one by one. And they are asking minimum level, maximum level, average stock level. Let us go one by one. Maximum consumption into maximum lead time. When it comes to A, component A, what is the maximum consumption? Maximum consumption is 75, maximum lead time is 6. So 75 into 6, 75 into 6, 450 units. When it comes to B, maximum consumption 75 and maximum lead time is 4, 75 into 4, 300. That is the reorder level. Next, minimum level. How to calculate minimum level? Reorder level minus average consumption into average lead time. Reorder level minus average consumption into average lead time. Reorder level just now we calculated for A, it is 450 units. So 450 units minus average consumption 50, average lead time 5. So 450 into 50 into 5, 200. Net amount is 200. Next, minimum level of component B, 300 units is the reorder level minus average consumption 50, average lead time 3 weeks. Net amount is, net units is 150 units. So this is the minimum level. Next, maximum level. What is the formula? Reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum consumption into minimum lead time. Minimum consumption into minimum lead time. Reorder level we calculated the first requirement. Reorder quantity is given here. Minimum consumption is 25 and minimum lead times is 4 and 2. Using this information we can calculate the maximum level. Straightforward question. Average stock level, as I told you, two formulas are there. One is max level plus minimum level divided by 2. One more, see, minimum level, maximum level is already calculated. We can use this formula. Second formula, minimum level, we already calculated plus half ROQ. Half of ROQ. ROQ is given in the question. So minimum level plus half ROQ. If you would have calculated EOQ, see, and that's what I'm telling you. Always the formula is ROQ. Actually, the real formula to calculate the average stock level is minimum consumption plus half ROQ. If EOQ equal to ROQ, if EOQ equal to ROQ, in place of ROQ, we can use the EOQ. Let me clarify this. If EOQ equal to ROQ, then in place of ROQ, we can use the EOQ also. But if EOQ is not equal to ROQ, then we have to use ROQ. We have to use only ROQ. The formula is half of ROQ. The actual formula is half of ROQ. If EOQ and ROQ are equal, we can use the EOQ also. If both are not equal, we have to use ROQ. ROQ is the formula. How much quantity that we are ordering, that depends, that determine the average stock. All of you clear? Understanding? Okay. This is about question number 5. Remaining questions I'll do it in the next video, and remaining concept we'll discuss in the next video. Thank you. Jai Hind.